Hi and welcome. I'm Kristy Forbes and I am an autism and neurodiversity support specialist. So what does that mean? That means that I'm passionate about supporting my autistic kin and their families and the professionals that wish to support them. My approach is a little different from traditional therapists and professionals in that I'm actually autistic and I bring with me lived experience and perspective as an autistic person with ADHD and PDA. These are all the letters of the alphabet that you will learn all about if you have a look around my website. I'm a mum to 4 children who are all autistic, and I'm married to an autistic man, so we're a completely autistic family. I have a background working in early childhood education. I have taught primary and secondary school. I have experience as an integration aide supporting children with social, emotional and behavioural differences. And I've worked as a childhood behavioural and family specialist. And now I'm passionate about supporting you, no matter whether you are an autistic person yourself, family member of an autistic person, an educator, a psychologist, a GP, a paediatrician, whatever your position. If you want to learn about how to support your neurodivergent loved one, that's what I'm here for. I went my whole life not knowing that I was autistic. I went my whole life seeking, searching, trying to find the answers as to what was wrong with me. Even though I fit in, I adapted, I learnt to be accepted, I learnt to say all the right things and look the right way and wear the right clothes, I always felt alien underneath of all of that. I self-loathed and self-rejected and knew that I was different, and I carried gross amounts of shame with me throughout my life and felt like I was hiding who I really was from everyone, even though I had no idea who I really was. I just thought there is something inherently wrong with me. It wasn't until I was an adult that I actually learnt that I was autistic and ADHD, and it changed my life. It explained every single thing about my life that I couldn't understand before. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that the initiation process for families today is that their child is diagnosed with a neurodivergence, and then typically they are directed to therapists and professionals and therapies that seek to gear them toward neuronormative standards, neuronormative or non-autistic ways of socializing, of speaking, of dressing, of thinking, of being in the world. And whilst this is how we've done things for a good 70 years now, we can see in our mental health statistics and our life expectancy of around 38 years old for autistic people that this isn't working for us. Asking us to shut down who we actually are organically, inherently, at our core is not working for us. So I believe 100% in radical acceptance of neurodivergence, in absolutely understanding autism as both an identity and a culture away from being a medical diagnosis or disorder. It's so important for our children to understand themselves, to know who they are, to understand why they think the way they do, why they feel the way they do, to understand the intensity and the depth and range of their character and their feelings and their experience of the world. Because no matter how much we appear to fit in, no matter how happy we appear on the outside, when we don't know who we are, we think that there is something wrong with us. So it's important to me that people have access to the autistic community to be able to understand what autism actually is. If you would like to be supported by me, I want to welcome you to connect with me. So many families that I work with have been through the system and they've come out the other side, sometimes traumatized, sometimes they've found that many of the early intervention therapies directed at them or their children have fed their anxiety and caused quite a large amount of chaos in their lives. And from parent to parent, I want to promise you that there is always the promise and the availability of reconnection, of finding joy, of understanding each other and embracing each other and enjoying being a part of our family, enjoying our children, liking who we are, and beginning our healing journey and the recovery to come back home to who we are, to help our children understand who they are. So that, in a nutshell, is what I do. If you'd like to learn more about how I do this, have a look around my website, and if you have any questions, you can email myself or my team from the contact page. I am so excited to connect with you, and I hope to hear from you soon.